Scott, thank you for joining us. I know that these weeks have been absolute hell. We want to stay on top of this story to help you find your precious, beautiful daughter. Now, you talked to the young man who spent the night, he says, at your daughter's apartment, the very night that she disappeared. You talked to him for 45 minutes. Tell us what struck you about that conversation.
Well, I really just wanted to hear it from, his words. I never had a chance to meet Cody to that point, and I really wanted to hear from his side exactly what went on. And,
well, did you buy it?
That's a tough question. I want to believe him. I want to see that my daughter's brought home. I want to try and not have someone else brought into this that isn't a guilty party. I want to say I'd like to believe him, but it's difficult. And I asked him the same question, because he as well has family members. I said, what if I was the last person that was with one of your family members, and that was the last time you ever saw them? What would you think of me?
There's a lot of questions I'd like to ask this young man. Police have questioned these two young men that Kortne rode home from the bar with, and they searched the car. Now, here's the thing that absolutely gets me. The police, have questioned both of these men extensively. Well, one of the guys, the guy whose father has spoken out, he says that he was dropped off at his home at 2 in the morning before Kortne and the second guy went to Kortne's house, So that's about 2 hours before Kortne vanished. The other guy then says he spent the night at Kortne's apartment, woke up, and she was gone, so he left. Here's what I don't get, and I'm going to take this out to John Lieberman, HLN contributor. The cops show up twice at Kortne's apartment that night. The first is a noise complaint, and it's apparently over her barking dog. Then they come back. They talk to Kortne. Then they come back a little while later because they hear banging. They hear banging coming from Kortne's apartment. But they get to her apartment and nobody is there. Now, if this young man slept over that night, how is it possible that when police go to the apartment the second time, nobody answers the door? If he slept over, he should have been there and should have been able to answer the door.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he should have been able to answer the door. And look, hindsight's always 20/20, but police should have made contact with somebody on that second visit to the house. Make no mistake about it, Jane, this is a major development in this case as police try and put together a firm timeline of exactly who was with her that night, who was last with her, and they're trying to either corroborate or contradict their statements with other information that they know. And let's be very frank, Jane, they are not persons of interest, they are not suspects, but we understand they are cooperating, which means there's no reason for police to call them suspects or persons of interest because they are cooperating, and by coming out and calling them that will make them clam up and lawyer up. But police do believe each of these men has valuable information. That's why they've now executed 2 search warrants with these men and the cars.